Welcome to your new online cricket talk show, Anything Cricket, Let's Talk. You're welcome to join us through your comments online. You can also WhatsApp 232-2109. Joining me today, to my left, Wayne Holder, cricket commentator and analyst, and to his left, Martin Parris, cricket umpire and freelance journalist. When we come back, we'll be discussing World Cup cricket. Anything Cricket, Let's Talk is brought to you by Rascals Barbados and My Kind of Beauty. Rascals Barbados. Let us serve you in a relaxing atmosphere or enjoy a takeout meal. Try our lunch specials every weekday. Rascals on the Spring Garden Highway. Call 538-9990.
Healing, nourishing, restoring. Amazing products, essential to provide healthy skin. My Kind of Beauty. Let it be yours.
Welcome back. The World Cup is well and truly underway, gentlemen, and it has, for the most part, I would say, been a heartbreak for West Indies fans. So let's get right into it. No hiding it. What's gone wrong?
Inconsistency, which has plagued West Indies cricket for quite a few years, where we saw what we considered not necessarily exemplary, but a very satisfactory performance in the very first match against Pakistan, which we won overwhelmingly. And since then, it has all gone downhill. Bowling plans, batting plans, nothing has seemed to work. And, well, it reached, for me, almost an all-time low. Very, very embarrassingly abject poor performance in the last game there against Bangladesh.
Martin?
I'm not one to have unrealistic expectations. If in your preparation and team selection you went through a rocky road, cricket is very much a form game, and if you're out of form, you're hardly likely to get it during a tournament such as this. The conditions are not exactly the most comfortable. You would have hoped that Jason Holder, the West Indies captain, was there acclimatizing. You would have hoped that the West Indies team that toured Ireland and played against Ireland and Bangladesh ahead of the official warm-ups would have had an opportunity to again get closer. But honestly speaking, injuries, fitness, lack of form, and perhaps in the case of Shea Hope, peaking a little too early. We wish we could have had some of those pre-tournament runs actually reflecting and being scored on the official sheet during the World Cup.
You talk about peaking a bit too early, but I've heard suggestions that it's not just a question of peaking early, but a question of players, let's say, performing against mediocre opposition, and know that the stakes are high and you're up against all the good teams. That explains why some players are not performing. How do you respond to that?
Well, if you are speaking about the other teams other than Bangladesh, because we did play Bangladesh in Ireland, and that seems to be the current West Indies bogey team, I don't see anything spectacular about Bangladesh's bowling attack. It's just that the dynamic of the West Indies team, the team in Ireland in the pre-tournament camp, didn't have Chris Gayle at the top of the order. And someone has put it in the mind of the West Indies batsmen that Chris Gayle is unable to run singles. I never knew that to be the case. He may not be the most agile. He won't be able to give you the ricochet rabbit, extremely quick singles, but rotate his strike. Not everything has to be a 4 and a 6. And to say that either Gayle has gone into his shell to lengthen his innings and not play his natural game, which is if it's there to be put away, put it away. We've seen him do it in the first ball of a test match, which apparently is not cricket. We also have seen him do it in any other format of the game where if you bowl a ball that Chris Gayle is to hit for 6, it will be hit for 6. The rest of the people have to know, as long as he's there, give him the strike. If I have the opportunity to turn a single, turn it. It's not as easily done as I can say. I'm sitting down here on a panel with Wayne and yourself. So, but out there in the middle, the guys have to know 300 balls, a minimum 300 runs.
Wayne, earlier in the year when Gayle was making a mockery of the England bowlers, during the tour, England's tour of the Caribbean, there was still debate even then about whether he should be in the West Indies team for the World Cup, whether we should be looking beyond Gayle. But he hasn't come through as yet. What are your thoughts on the Chris Gayle situation? Did the board, did the selectors make a mistake in sticking with Gayle?
Definitely not. There's no player, we have no player better than Gayle. No alternative, no better alternative than a Chris Gayle, even at 39 years old at this stage of his career. What has happened is that he has not really come to the fore in this tournament so far as he would have done against England earlier. And as far as I'm concerned, the West Indies' success or failure in the World Cup depended heavily on contributions from Gayle and Andre Russell. Gayle particularly, as he would have done, like we mentioned before. So I don't think that the selectors made any error. Gayle had made himself available. Remember, he took part in the qualifying tournament. He took time out to take part in the qualifying tournament. And any doubts we had about Chris Gayle's ability to perform would have been laid to rest. Once again, we refer to that series against England. Unfortunately, he has not fired so far in the World Cup. And I think that has led, that has played a really significant part in the West Indies' poor performance so far.
Gentlemen, I don't think you can debate the quality of a Chris Gayle. One may argue that in global tournaments he has not been as consistent and as reliable as one would have wanted. But if you look at his overall international record in all formats, it is a record that one has to respect. The same is not necessarily so of Russell at the international level. Is it that we're getting confused over the IPL, which is a domestic tournament really, and maybe expecting too much of Russell at the international level in a 50-over tournament?
Not necessarily. Andre Russell is a tremendous cricket talent, and that has been identified a long time ago.
But the stats at the international level don't necessarily support that.
But we have to say his potential has been identified a long time ago. I think what may have happened is that Russell hasn't given himself enough of an opportunity to develop his skills, especially at the 50-over level, on the international stage. But his talent and his abilities is undoubted. And I guess we were kind of hoping that form and that dynamism which he exhibited in the IPL leading up to the World Cup, we were hoping that we would have seen a continuation of that kind of dynamism. And for whatever reason, he has not been able to deliver in the World Cup up to this stage.
But remember, the IPL is a 20-over format, Martin, and you've seen Russell coming into the team, and in the matches so far, pretty much adopt the T20 approach, which is you come in and you just go. Because in a T20 game, there's not a whole lot of time. You can take 2 or 3 balls maybe to get your eye in, but then you've got to go. And he has been batting that way and it has not worked.
You were speaking only about his batting. I will look at it on the broader context. The press, the team, the setup has identified him with some X factor. It has gone from a capital X to a miniature x now, a lowercase x. And he's not fit, he's not in the best of health, and is expected to provide a minimum of a controlled spell of 5 overs minimum. He's expected to bat at least 5 overs. 5 times 6 is 30 still. You're the school teacher among us. And here we go. He cannot deliver it because he's not fit. He's got different injuries. We thought it was leg, we thought it was back, we thought it was wrist. Who knows? Is the pressure getting to him? The expectations, the weight on his shoulder? But he's not playing by himself. What about the other members of the squad? There's no excuse for misfielding, giving away bonus balls, not treasuring your wicket when you're batting, not seeing that if you're playing in a teacup, you either play the ball expertly along the ground or cleanly up and over and out of the facility. And likewise, when you are bowling at your opponents, you cannot give them balls to put away as easily. Especially the other day when we batted first. We didn't get as many runs as we expected. And therefore you should have known, well, I can't bowl this particular line or length because it can be punished the same way I was supposed to have punished it when I was batting. Do we switch on and off and not analyze and be aware of the match situation? How much brain cricket has been played in terms of ability versus actually assessing where we are?
Wayne?
I think that the Andrea Russell situation, once again, I don't think that his approach really speaks to what is his ability. It is a matter of his judgment. And I think that his judgment has been poor.
Whether it's judgment or ability, though, the outcome is in the right-hand column. You
Well,
got to get runs
eventually.
out there. Whether the shortfall is because of lack of ability or lack of decision-making, the result is the same.
Well, that is true. But I'm saying that it is, the fault is with his decision-making. You know,
And with a body that's not 100%, whatever message you send to your body to deliver a ball, to take a catch, to make a stroke, it's not going to be accurate enough or what you usually expect because you're struggling with a body that's, I wouldn't even say 65 to 70% fit.
Okay, guys, we're looking at Russell and Gale. We spent a lot of time on them. But I've heard a fair amount of criticism, too, of the West Indies captain, which is to be expected. When you lose, the captain is always at fault, isn't it? What are your thoughts? Of course, I say that tongue-in-cheek. But you get that impression when you read the Facebook comments, when you listen to the call-in programs, when you go to get a haircut, when you're walking down the street. And right now, West Indies not doing well. And, you know, the easiest name to call is Jason Holder. How justified are the fans in blaming Jason Holder, Wayne? Let's start with
well, yes, I mean, the captaincy, the leadership has to take some blame. There's no doubt about it. And Jason, at times, has been uninspiring, let us say. We had the situation, let's say, against Australia. You had the Australians on the rack, you know, and rather than being proactive and probably veer away from the set plan and maybe continue to attack the Australians, we saw a situation where it got to a stage where Jason, apparently plan A would have been that at a particular juncture, X bowler comes off and X bowler comes on, and we kind of ease the pressure. And speaking specifically of particularly the O'Shane Thomas and Sheldon Cottrell, who were causing the Australian batsmen the most problems, withdrawing them from the attack and bringing Carlos Bassett and himself in and allowing, and more or less easing the pressure on the Australian batsman, thereby allowing that partnership between Smith and Carey to build. So, yes, as far as some of those tactics are concerned, Jason must take some of the blame. But, well, not, there's no buts. He has to take some of the blame. You know, and generally, the West Indies, as a team, has basically not delivered. You know, again, in that Bangladesh game there, the bowling, you know, after the plan A didn't seem to be working, there didn't seem to be an alternative plan
I guess Plan B was a repeat of Plan A.
to fall back on, you know, and then there was a very poor execution on the part of the bowlers generally. You know, I hear Martin talk about not making as many as we anticipated. I am still very much of the belief that 320 runs, any bowling attack that is worth its salt. I'm not saying you won't get beaten, but you shouldn't have the floor white with you, where you lose by 7 wickets with all of 8 overs.
And the thing about that, and we look at the critics again. I've heard comments about Shea Hope batting too slowly, and of course, if you're looking at a player's development, Shea Hope, like any player, has areas in which he can improve, and one area is being able to maybe score at a faster rate. But if you look at the context of that match and you look to see where you actually would have lost that game, it could not be Shea Hope. Because when you look at it, the Bangladesh side won with 8.5 overs to spare. They were on course for 400 runs. So had Shea Hope even batted faster and West Indies had scored close to 400, they probably still would have lost the game. That game was lost, plain and simple, through poor bowling.
The other thing that I would like to remind people is, I zip my mouth and sew it up if somebody could tell me who amongst the West Indies bowling attack is supposed to be the world rated top flight, put fear in the heart of any batsman, quaking in his boots, don't want to come out from in the pavilion. We don't have that attack anymore. And it called for a smart, patient application to be able to retain. Remember, if I bowl 300 balls at you and you don't score a run, when I have to go and bat, I only need to score 1 run. It is limited overs cricket. You don't have to get everybody out, but you must certainly ensure that they don't get free runs.
Well,
Because
Martin,
you only need to win by 1 run.
You're going on a path now where I actually want to go as well, and that is the way forward. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, gentlemen, we're going to offer some suggestions as to what the West Indies team actually needs to, the way forward, so to speak, what can be done. Those games are gone, and for all intents and purposes, from the West Indian point of view, probably this World Cup. But the way forward, when we come back. Anything Cricket, Let's Talk is brought to you by Rascals Barbados and My Kind of Beauty. Rascals Barbados. Let us serve you in a relaxing atmosphere or enjoy a takeout meal. Try our lunch specials every weekday. Rascals on the Spring Garden Highway. Call 538-9990.
Healing, nourishing, restoring. Amazing products, essential to provide healthy skin. My Kind of Beauty. Let it be yours.
Welcome back. Gentlemen, the 2019 Cricket World Cup, many will say, is a lost cause for the West Indies. But they've got to salvage something from it. And they've got to learn some lessons as we move forward. Wayne, what advice can you offer?
Well, first of all, I don't consider it a lost cause. This game of cricket, I've seen many funny things happen in cricket. And there are 4 games remaining. I guess the West Indies are in a position where to advance, they would need to win all 4 of the matches left. They have defeated all 4 of these teams at different stages, although not consistently in the case of, well, in all 4. But the fact of the matter is that the game has to be played before we can call it. As far as going forward is concerned, I don't see we have the space for a lot of chopping and changing. I think we still need to put what is the best team out there as far as fitness and availability allows with this side. That game against Bangladesh, we went a bit too far. We it's not too far east is west, and we went a bit too far as limiting the bowling options. And I think that we have to redress that balance and bring at least one other player into the team who's going to take care of some of the bowling, whether that be one of the spinners, you're bringing back Ashley Nurse, possibly Fabian Allen, or Carlos Bathwick comes back into this side. But I think we need to give ourselves that extra bowling option. And well, then again, it means that a player would have to sit out.
I've heard of eternal optimists. I may be saying one now. Is it too early to prepare for the next World Cup?
Definitely not.
Let's look at that.
As a matter of fact, I think that is, we should already be starting to put plans together towards the next World Cup. I think that's one of the faults in West Indies cricket going into this World Cup. We really didn't have a long-term plan. You know, it was a lot of ad hocism, chopping and changing along the way between, as most of the other sides, you would have noticed, would have started their preparations for this World Cup as soon as the 2015 World Cup was completed.
So let's not make that mistake again. What do we need to do moving forward to get to the next World Cup?
Well, West Indies cricket being what it is, we know the pitfalls and the trouble that has pervaded the landscape, the cricketing landscape, whether it be players deliberately or not being unavailable for certain tournaments and when certain opportunities come along. So I think we've got to first of all clear up that situation with the availability of players and putting the best team together. Of course, this team would have to be dismantled. At the end of this tournament, you would have to be dismantling this side, and you will know the players that you're going to be wanting to go forward with, and those who will not be of any use.
I see Martin is highly amused, and I think I know why. Martin, after the final delivery and the final disc bowl, what's your first order of business?
Well, following up from the opposite end from Wayne, he says the team has to be dismantled. I will introduce a grammatically incorrect word. Was it ever mantled? That's what I was
reassembled, dismantled and
it
reassembled.
It was a squad.
Yeah, but we're looking forward. So what needs to be done?
Again, we agree that this team, and I'd like to use the term, pull the pin out of the hand grenade and chuck it down their own throat and hope that it didn't go off. They were hoping for the best. Poor preparation. It's supposed to be Chris Gale's swan song World Cup. We're talking about going forward. Have we identified ODI openers? Are they going to be playing? Does Chris Gale have to play in every match? No.
Going forward, you have Chris Gale in your plans.
No, we
I think
don't.
Gale already. So what I'm trying to get from you, gentlemen.
So
and
when are we going to
I'm going to have to become a
introduce-
dentist to get it out now.
When are we going
find out-
to introduce the next opening batsman up there? Chris Gale is going to play until this World Cup is over.
But guys, we've gone past the World Cup.
But you said, what are we going to do going forward?
Yeah, so
At
I
this
don't want to hear the
World-
name Chris
at
Gale
this
because Chris
World
Gale
Cup-
has already indicated
At
that
this World Cup,
his
we
journey
have to
ends here.
play the next in line. We already must accept, even if we win the next few matches, the weather is dodgy. We win the 4 matches.
I'm way past. You didn't quite get me, Martin. After the final delivery in the final between whichever two teams has been bowled, what next?
That is, again, the area of selection. What is the real plan of Cricket West Indies? Do they just want to win tournaments, be successful at the World Cup? Or do they want to see the overall cricket reach what we grew up knowing West Indies to be dominant, competitive, and classy with our signature West Indies way of playing?
Anything Cricket, Let's Talk is brought to you by Rascals Barbados and My Kind of Beauty. Rascals Barbados. Let us serve you in a relaxing atmosphere or enjoy a takeout meal. Try our lunch specials every weekday. Rascals on the Spring Garden Highway. Call 538-9990.
Healing, nourishing, restoring. Amazing products, essential to provide healthy skin. My kind of beauty. Let it be yours.
Welcome back. We've got a very special guest today, Akeem Jordan. And when you had a very interesting discussion with him recently, I believe you started by asking him the benefits that he would have gained from having played several seasons in the English leagues.
It was a great experience, to be honest. The atmosphere, the grounds, is a complete different setup to here in the Caribbean. Different bowling types, because sometimes you would get like slow swing bowlers, and then you would get the rapid ones, and plus the ball doesn't really spin in England that much. So the experience was very good. It helped me understand my game much more.
What aspects of your game you think benefited most though from that exposure?
I would say my bowling, because in England the ball does swing tremendously a lot. So being able to control the swinging ball in England, I learned to come back and do the same here.
Right, and of course the atmosphere here though not conducive to that kind of swing. I guess in England the problem maybe would have been to be able to control the swing, which was quite exorbitant. When you get back to Barbados, then you had to try to extract some kind of swing. How did that go?
Well, actually, when I first came back to Barbados after my first stint in England, the ball was swinging. The ball was swinging just as big as when I was in England. So it wasn't hard having to adjust, because the same way I was bowling in England, I could have come back and bowl here, especially playing at Wildy with the breeze.
But yes, you talk about those exploits in England, and during those years in England, you would have also forged some kind of an alliance with now one of the superstars in world cricket. The hottest thing on the scene in world cricket is a guy called Jofra Archer, and I understand that you would have played together, you would have roomed together, and you have a fairly strong relationship with Jofra. Tell us about that.
Me and Jofra, you see, the funny thing about it is our parents went to school together. So, growing up, actually knowing each other from kids, I would say, coming through the system, the school playing for Barbados Youth, then for Barbados in the 19, then both of us ending up at the same club, Wildy. The bond between us just keeps getting stronger and stronger.
Well, yes, I wondered about that. Was it a coincidence that you ended up at the same club? Did one influence the other?
Well, I was here, me and Romario Graves, we came here together in 2013. Yeah, and then Andrew went to the Pittwick Club, but then he was like, he said to me, he's thinking of coming to Wildy, but mainly because probably most of his friends came to Wildy as well, so then he just ended up here.
Right, and in England, that connection in England, you ended up playing for the same team, or you just crossed paths?
We went to a tour in Cornwall where we played for the same team, but mostly we would play for different teams, but we would end up just playing together in like midweek games and stuff like that.
And that move that Jofra made towards the England setup, where he made a decision and chose to try his luck with playing for England rather than trying out or looking to get into a West Indies side. How privy were you to that? Did you know that was his thinking all along, or when did that thinking come about?
It wasn't his plan, because he wanted to play for Barbados so badly and the West Indies. I know that for sure. But then, after not making the World Cup team, West Indies and the 19 team, I guess that derailed him a bit. So, plus I remember Jofra, he had a stress fracture in his back, and actually he thought that he was never going to be able to pursue a cricket career. But then he went to England, he got help, and then I guess knowing Christopher Jordan as well, that influenced him to try to play for England, knowing he has an English passport.
And of course, a career decision you would have thought?
Yeah. A big career move, because he knew that it would be a good few years playing in England before he could actually play for England. So, but he was willing to take the risk because he always believed that he was good enough.
And of course, playing in the county circuit for Surrey, Sussex at the time, it would have meant once he did not play for the West Indies, he qualified as a homegrown player rather than take the risk of being an overseas player if he had gone for the West Indies.
Yeah, it would have been a big risk, because actually at a point in England he was thinking about coming back to try to play for Barbados when he was already playing for Sussex. But I don't know where his thought process went. But probably he decided, you know what, my chances are better in England, so he's gonna stick with Sussex and fight it through.
I read a story on the ESPN Cricket Info website that you actually were interviewed, and you talked about your experiences of actually rooming together, playing together during the times when it was not so easy. As a matter of fact, Jofra went on to say that he actually slept on the floor in your apartment. Tell us a bit more about that.
No, he never used to sleep on the floor. It was just like, he would come by me, and most of the time he would be in my room normally because he had his own bedroom when he was staying by me. But we would just be chilling, and then he would just fall asleep, and I would fall asleep, and we would wake up there in the morning. So it was not a case where he had to stay on the floor.
Okay, that answers that. That takes care of a call. You tell it in a completely different context to what I read on the Cricket Info website. But Jofra's cricket has improved leaps and bounds. I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you think that had he stayed in the Caribbean, had he stayed in Barbados, that his talents could have risen or been improved to the point that he has reached right now?
Actually, I do, because there was a point when he was here, everyone started to realize about how fast he was bowling. He was going about, everyone was talking about Jofra Archer, Jofra Archer, Jofra Archer. Then going Barbados practice and bowling quick in the nets, everyone was amazed about how fast this guy was bowling. Plus he is a capable batsman. So I really think that if he had stayed here, played for Barbados, he would probably be playing for West Indies right now as well.
And of course, you would, as a West Indian fan, you were playing for England, though, as a long-time friend of yours, you would wish that he continues to reap the success with which his career has started.
Yeah, I do. Honestly, if he could become the number one oddie bowler in the world someday, or test bowler, even T20 bowler, I would be really happy for him. All his struggles, his hard work, it just shows that with the right attitude and persistence, you can go anywhere.
And what about you? Would you want to become the number one bowler in the world, even if it meant relegating Jofra to number two?
Yeah, well, I mean, we always had our battles. It would be good for me to say, hey, Jofra, I'm the number one bowler in the world and you're number two. But it would just be good banter between us.
Rascals Barbados. Let us serve you in a relaxing atmosphere or enjoy a takeout meal. Try our lunch specials every weekday. Rascals on the Spring Garden Highway. Call 538-9990.
Healing, nourishing, restoring. Amazing products, essential to provide healthy skin. My kind of beauty. Let it be yours.
Welcome back. Our cyber guest today is former Jamaica under-19 captain Rohan Chambers. His dad, Len Chambers, would have played for the senior Jamaica team. Rohan now lives in the United States, where he's involved in cricket administration among his many other activities. Okay, Rohan, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not too bad. How's your dad?
He's good. He's retired. enjoying life in front of the TV in New York. Um, he recently received an award for the new, USA Cricket Hall of Fame, where he was inducted. And not sure how familiar you are with that, but it's a big organization in New York and Connecticut where they honor a number of individuals each year. They have a local category and they also have a Caribbean international category. So he, along with Jimmy Adams, were recognized for their contribution to international and Caribbean cricket. So he was one of the overseas awardees, so they flew him up. In fact, Hillary Beckles was also at the event too in October.
Okay. What are your thoughts on what's going on in the World Cup as far as the West Indies is concerned?
Yeah, well, it's very disappointing, right? Especially after the build-up with some of the successes in some of the guys in the IPL and so on, and Gale, Chris Gale doing well in the Caribbean when England toured, and of course the young stars, rising stars, Hetmeyer, Puran, and of course Russell in his IPL exploits. So that was a good build-up, but we're not. We apparently, well, a number of things are happening. We're not using our heads when we're playing the game. We're not thinking, right? And also, there's always this debate about team selection. Do we have the right team selection? Do we have the right balance? I have my personal views, and in my opinion, I think our bowling is not the best. And to keep it simple, I don't think it matters what bowling we play. We're gonna get licks. I think we just need to pack the batting some more, and specifically the batting all-rounders, people like Brathwaite and Nurse. When we don't have those guys coming in at 9, 10, 11, our batting stops at number 8. And in the last game against Bangladesh, we could have scored 20 more runs if we had someone like a Brathwaite or a Nurse coming at number 9 instead of a Thomas.
But the thing about it though, Rohan, is that with Bangladesh winning the game with 8 overs and 3 balls to spare, they were actually
right.
400 runs. So I'm not so sure another 20 runs or even another 50 or 60 runs would have made a big call on it.
Yeah, well, you're right in that regard, but still, I'd love to see someone else apart from Thomas coming at number 9. And if you look back too at, I think one of the practice games we had played, I forgot who it was against. We made 400 and something, and the batting went down to like number 9, including batting all rounders.
Yeah.
And in that game, Holder opened the bowling with Cottrell.
Yeah.
And that to me was the best attack the best balanced team we should be playing. That's just my opinion.
You still think they can go on to qualify from here, or it's all over?
Yeah, anything is possible. Though it's going to be rough. New Zealand is playing well, very smart cricket. They always are good thinking cricketers. Australia and India we know, and then England home advantage, and they're playing well too. So hopefully rain can help us along the way, right? And with some good luck, we could probably finish number 4 in this, and make it to the semis. But it's going to be really difficult. We have to win all of our games from here onwards to even stand a chance.
Okay. Well, it's nice chatting with you. We'll be in touch again because there's a lot of cricket to follow. The women are playing as well, so that's a discussion maybe for another day. But certainly lots of cricket. And after this, you've got the Test Series, you've got the IPL. So lots and lots of cricket. Sorry, not the IPL, the CPL. And
CPL, yeah.
Yeah, the CPL. So we've got a lot to talk about in the coming weeks.
No problem.
So thanks for joining us.
No problem. Take care. Thanks.
All right. Rascals Barbados. Let us serve you in a relaxing atmosphere or enjoy a takeout meal. Try our lunch specials every weekday. Rascals on the Spring Garden Highway. Call 538-9990.
Healing, nourishing, restoring. Amazing products, essential to provide healthy skin. My kind of beauty. Let it be yours.
Welcome back. The ICC has embarked on the initiative to include many of the non-traditional countries in an activity during the Cricket World Cup. It's called the Cricket Cup.
The CRIO Cup is an invitational tournament with 6 participating teams from Rwanda, Indonesia, India, Brazil, England and Germany, with teams selected from the global CRIO movement based on the impact cricket has had in their communities. Today we'll have an incredible setup in Trafalgar Square. We will have a cricket cage to see 6 nations play their version of CRIO. This truly is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to travel to London, to make lifetime friendships, to go to the Men's Cricket World Cup final and to sightsee all across the wonderful city of London.
I'm very excited. I've been on a plane, but I've never traveled that far. I want to feel how it is traveling. And also meeting so very different people, because there will be different countries.
It will be exciting, and of course to play at Trafalgar Square would be unbelievable, a new thing for me.
झूठ नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, जब से मेरे को मालूम पड़ा है लंदन टूर है इंडिया के थ्रू अपन जा रहे हैं खेलने के, तब से मैं इतना खुश हूँ कि लाइफ में आके टेनिस क्रिकेट ने कुछ तो एक अलग दिया है, और मैं ये लाइफ में कभी भूलूंगा नहीं लंदन ट्रिप.
CRIO has no set rules. Each team will devise their own. We'll have those with bottles for stumps, we have those using brooms for bats and socks with tape around it for balls. The whole concept of CRIO is to celebrate how people play their game in their communities.
Yang pasti saya akan mempersiapkan baju timnas Indonesia saya ini dan pulpen untuk tanda tangan pemain-pemain top di sana.
Taking these kids from posture calders in the heart of Brazil to London to see a World Cup final, playing Trafalgar Square, we'll probably only realise how big it is after the event, when we actually sit down and think this is unbelievable, this is something that was a one-off and something very special.
The CRIO Cup, along with CRIO, has truly been designed to unite the global cricketing community. The level of excitement and the fun will be sensational. We're really proud to have the teams here.
Thanks very much for watching. Join us again soon on Anything Cricket. Let's talk.